And I promise you, you'll get something out of everyone that will help you shift your perspective. Because when you shift your perspective, you shift your circumstances. See you soon. Hey, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, and you are here with me, Laurel Rutledge, the host of the Rutledge Perspective Radio Show live here on KCOHtv Radio, The Boost in Houston, Texas, here in the historic Third Ward, in the historic station with our beautiful looking glass window. And on the corner of Wichita and Alameda. So excited to be here. It is, my hair's all over the place. Y'all, we got weather, we got humidity today. So Katie's probably going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as the show goes on. Just work with her. Send up a few prayers, right? So she hangs in there today. So several things to talk about today. We're really going to focus on kind of keeping your eyes and ears open, which I think is so critical with all the things that are going on right now. It is so important for you to keep your eyes and ears open in this moment because there's so much going on. But before we get to that, just a few announcements and things. So first of all, I want to thank the Houston Area Urban League Guild for an amazing time at the gala that celebrated the Panhellenic Council. And so that was such a good time and such a great opportunity to be there with everybody. I don't do a lot of those. I don't do a lot of galas, but I told myself this year I was going to do more of those because I do enjoy meeting people and doing the things. And so it was a lot of fun. But you're going to meet some of those folks that I met at the gala, and we're going to have them in studio. The ones that are here in Houston, have them in studio for a few things. Which I'm really excited about. So keep watch on my social. You'll see that coming up. So pay attention to that. That'll be coming. Also, this week on Fireside, Jenny and I are going to be doing our Empowerment Village on Fireside, and we're going to talk about the whole self. So come join me tomorrow. That's tomorrow. No, I'm sorry. Thursday at noon. Thursday at noon, we're going to do Empowerment Village. So join me then for that. And this week, the podcast is Rebecca M. Thompson. I interviewed Rebecca M. Thompson for the podcast for Women's History Month because we're still in Women's History Month. Although it feels weird this year. I don't know what it is. But Women's History Month, Rebecca M. Thompson is my guest in the podcast episode that'll drop tomorrow. She's just awesome, and you want to know her. So listen to that episode. You're going to get so much out of her journey. She is one of my business coaches. She's just incredibly good people. And so I encourage you to download and listen to that episode because she's just great. And then I have Anna Deshawn is going to be the guest for next week on the podcast. And she just won her whole network, and her shows just won. Good morning, Jan. Her shows just won some awards, some Ambient awards, and she has the Cube app, really making space for LGBTQIA voices and creators in this space. She's been in media for 20 plus years, and she's doing the daggone thing, y'all. It's really incredible. And she, again, just good people. I'm so honored and blessed to be able to have such good people that keep coming my way, and being able to meet them and engage with them and have them on my shows and all that kind of stuff. So keep tuning into the podcast. Thank you all again. We are closing in on 16,000, right? We just hit 15,000. So quickly closing in on 16,000. So keep sharing, keep giving, keep listening, keep downloading. I appreciate every one of the people that support and help me get this message out, and these messages of aligning and having a vision and moving into action and speaking truth and standing in your power and all the things. So thank you for listening, for tuning in to the radio show, to the podcast, to the Fireside Show, all the things. I'm so appreciative. So that's happening. And then my website refresh, we're still working on that. So hopefully by the end of the month, in April, we'll be able to do a big launch with that. I'm excited to do that. And that'll be really cool to do a big launch with the new website. And again, those of you who are women business owners, multi-7-figure business owners, that Founders Intensive is what you need. right? If you're reaching that point where you are in business 5 to 7 years, you've got 15 plus people, it's starting to feel like you just can't be there for everybody, right? Even though you still want to be there for everybody, it's time to step into that CEO role, right? That founder and CEO role. And that's different than when you first started and you were maybe bootstrapping your business. So let's get together. Let's talk about it. It's a full day of just you and your business, your strategy, your objectives, your organization, and let's get you moving and back on that track of continuing to build the amazing thing that you've built. And then those of you who are new senior executives, right, have run that gauntlet, you finally got into that place, and then you opened your eyes the next day and were like, what happened? I got you too. We're going to look at a group session for you guys. So stay tuned for all that stuff coming up your way on all things Laurel Rutledge. So today, and voting, by the way, Cuba is voting on Saturday. They've got a parliamentary election. And then, we've got on the 25th, they're on the 26th, I'm sorry. And then on the 25th, that's Saturday, Louisiana, you guys have several elections happening on Saturday. So it's a Saturday, y'all. You have no excuse to not be voting in Louisiana. It's a Saturday. Make sure you get registered. Make sure you're paying attention. There's just so much. There's just so much. So please be sure you are getting registered, that you are checking your registration. I just saw an article yesterday, as tough as it is, and you guys see me moving. I've done something to my shoulder. So my shoulder's feeling kind of weird. So you may see me grimacing or something. It's not y'all, it's me. I don't know what I did. One of those things where you wake up and you sneeze or something, right? And you throw your back out. Anyway, I just read an article the other day, and I don't even remember what state it was in because I just got so irritated that they are actually, maybe it was Arizona. I can't remember, but they're actually talking about booting people off of the rolls if you don't vote. If you miss an election, that you are now taken off the rolls. So heaven forbid you get sick or you're in the hospital or you have an accident or some emergency happens or you just can't make it. Although that's why they have early voting. So I need y'all to vote early because of these kind of shenanigans. Don't wait till, but although I love election day, but try not to wait for election day if you can. Vote early, because what they're trying to do in this state, maybe it is Arizona, they're actually saying if you don't vote in a previous election, they're going to pull you off the rolls. You are no longer a registered voter. That's why I tell you always double check, and make sure that you are still on the voting rolls, right? Because crazy stuff happens. If you are tuned in on one of my pages, either Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, will you send me a note and just let me know that you can still hear and see? Because apparently last week there was an issue with the video. I did not know that because I can see it, right? It's streaming for me. I can see, but I can't tell if it's going crazy for y'all. So somebody who's tuned in, if you'll let me know, that'd be awesome. So that's what's going on. And that kind of leads to what we're going to talk about today, which is keeping your eyes and your ears open, right? Keeping your eyes and your ears open, paying attention to what's going on around you, and not just from a safety perspective, right? Because we all need to be paying attention to what's going on around us just from a general safety perspective. But more than that, we're not too far from, right, the next big election in 2024. Although there's some stuff happening in 2023 that we need to be participating in. But the next, big one, the big federal election is in 2024. And we're all hearing all the rhetoric and we're hearing all the stuff going on. And, all of the narratives have started that are taking things to a crazy point. Like, it's been insane for a while, but it's really getting nuts now. This whole viewpoint diversity here in Texas that we talked about, that basically says, yeah, we want everybody to have a say, but we're not funding anything that has anything to do with DEI. We're seeing that happening all over the country. Florida, they're trying to take all the Black fraternities and sororities, Black Greek letter organizations off campuses, only the Black ones off campuses, saying it's woke discourse. So this is ignorance. Right. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as a fact. If you don't really know what those organizations are about, that's ignorance. Or if you're not ignorant about it, this is just intentional. My gut tells me all of this stuff is intentional. We've got TEA taking over Houston Independent School District, which is very interesting to me, given it is by far not the most problematic school district in Texas, but it is the most diverse and the one in the most blue county in Texas. So you see what I mean? Keep your eyes and ears open. And this goes for leaders too, right? In your organizations. Keep your eyes and ears open because your employees are. If you're an entrepreneur, keep your eyes and ears open because your customers are. What is it that you are seeing? What is it that you are hearing? And how are you responding? And what feedback do you get from your response? Keep your eyes and ears open. The things that we say and the things that we do, right, must align, or people are only going to listen to what we do. Keep your eyes and ears open, right? So someone can say, we absolutely believe that it is important to have all viewpoints heard at the table. We believe that. That is a tenet of our organization. And then you look at the organization and there's no one that looks like you, whatever other class you're in. Keep your eyes and your ears open. What is it that you are saying versus what you are doing? And what message is that sending to the people with whom you want to do business? If you are a business owner and you are touting that one of the biggest things about working with you is that you ensure that a part of your profits go somewhere, or that you are operating in a way that is sustainable, or whatever your thing is, what are you telling people out in the marketplace? And then what are you doing? Because I guarantee you, if you're not keeping your eyes and ears open, other people are. As they say, someone's always watching. Someone's always watching. Someone's always listening. And so if you are using a platform like I am, if you're using a platform and you're coming out and you're talking about things and you're giving perspectives and giving opinions, and yet what you do is contrary to that, right? If you are an entrepreneur, a founder, a business owner, and you are touting what you do and why you do it, and yet the actions you take are contrary to that, people develop relationships. And they may not know, you may not know that you're in a relationship with this person, right? But people develop relationships with the products that they buy, the services that they purchase. You know, the business owners. That was the power of the corner store, right? Decades ago. It still happens sometimes in neighborhoods, right? Knowing that whole cheers, right? Go in where everybody knows your name. Those relationships that are built because people are listening, right? They're watching. Pay attention to what you're hearing and what you're seeing. Keep your eyes open and your ears open. And in those corner neighborhoods, those corner stores, those small groups, those villages that you have around you, both your professional village and your personal village, what you're hearing is sometimes words of affirmation, sometimes words to kick your tail into gear, and sometimes you're hearing words of challenge, words of uplift. And what you're seeing in those professional and personal villages is a desire to support and uplift and protect and band together for a common purpose. And sometimes that common purpose is just support. We just want to make sure we're lifting somebody else up. We want to make sure that we're there for people who need someone to be there for them. That's the whole purpose of what we're doing. Sometimes it's simple as that. Sometimes it's deeper, but sometimes it's just that simple. We just want to be there for the other people who have a shared experience, a shared journey, a shared set of circumstances. And by using all of our gifts and by keeping our eyes and ears open, we can see where are the places where we can make an impact. Where are the places where we can begin to say the right words, do the right things, to impact the world and leave it better than the way we found it, right? For there to be a reason for us to have been in existence, for there to be a reason for us to have shown up on a regular basis, right? For there to be a reason for us to be here doing the things, spending our energy, right? Time, energy, money. Great. Thank you, Jerry. It's critical that we know that it is a whole body experience to show up and to lead. And it is a whole body experience to participate and to follow. It is not a simple task to show up, right? And it's harder for some people than others, right? Showing up is harder for some than others. It is not a simple task to stand in your power. It's not a simple task to speak truth to power. It is not a simple task to take in all of the things that are happening around you, some to you, some to others, some that have nothing to do with you, but you still see them happening, and to take that in, process them, and then decide what you're going to do about them, right? You know, we've talked about this before, that it is important, and I feel it is critically important, that I come to you every day or every Tuesday with some knowledge of what's going on, because I'm here live on the radio, right? I can't just come in here ignorant. I need to have some knowledge of what's going on, what's impacting all of us. And in gaining that knowledge and understanding what's happening and understanding what's going on in the world around us, I also have to manage and protect my own spirit, my own psyche. Listening to things first thing in the morning that challenge your peace is not necessarily the most strategic thing to do for success. Sometimes, y'all, we got lots of wind and rain here, so lots of stuff blowing around. So I may be drinking a lot of water today. Get understanding and knowing and being cognizant of what is happening around you and how it's happening and why it's happening and what it means for you individually is a powerful piece of information for you to be able to act and move forward. And the gathering of that information, the studying of what's going on, the understanding of what's happening around you can be really heavy, especially now, right? Worldwide, all of the things that are happening worldwide. You know, I heard a commentary just yesterday, some real concerns about our Navy from military personnel, right? That we have not been, even though our defense budget is huge, we have not been spending what these individuals felt we should be spending in order to ensure that our naval fleet was the best trained, you know, the most accurate, the most forward thinking, forward leaning, up to date in the world. And we have a country that is now got apparently the largest fleet in the world now. And it's not us. And we're looking at retiring more ships and all of these kind of things, and we're not spending the money. And I have to think through, you know, is it really a money thing? Is it a strategy thing? And this is one they can't blame on woke or DEI, right? What have we been spending the money on? Have we been spending it on technology, right? We've got to keep our eyes and our ears open, right? And our minds open. What are we doing with the resources that we have, especially those resources that are limited, right? Our time and our energy. What are we doing with the time that we have? What are we doing with the energy that we have? And as leaders, when you're showing up for people, they're expecting you to show up, all of you, right? 100% of you, because you're leading them. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to be 100% all the time. Now, we all know that that's not reasonable. We all have off days, right? But they are looking for you to have more on days than off. And if you have an off day, that you are forward thinking enough, enough of a leader, confident enough, competent enough to say, you know what, I'm having a little bit of an off day. So here's what we're going to do instead, right? Or here's some things I'm not going to be able to get done today. or talk about today, right? Just being upfront and clear with people about what's going on so that they can manage their own expectations. Because the idea of keeping your eyes and your ears open enables you to understand, manage, adjust expectations that you have of yourself and of others, to engage appropriately and use your resources appropriately for what's needed at the time, right? And so if we're not paying attention to what's going on around us, if we are not listening, if we're not watching, if we are not being discerning, we have the kind of things that are happening right now, and they sneak up on you. They sneak up on you because we haven't been really paying attention, right? We've been kind of listening. We've been kind of watching. We take things in little separate bites as opposed to starting to collect the full picture. And it's only in hindsight when we see the full picture that we're like, dang it, that started 10 years ago. And now it blew up, and now I'm surprised. I shouldn't have been surprised because I saw it coming, right? And that's what happens a lot, is we often don't pay attention to what's coming because it's almost like a death by a thousand cuts. And if it's just enough different, our brains don't necessarily connect it. But savvy leaders, savvy entrepreneurs, savvy employees connect dots, and they connect real dots, because that's another conversation. People connect dots that don't even exist, right? But those who are really interested in what's going on and participating and moving and growing and developing are watching and listening, and they are connecting dots that they actually experience and see. Now, the narrative around those dots may or may not be accurate, but the dots actually exist for them. And so are you keeping your eyes and ears open? Are you able to discern what you see and what you hear for what the impact of what that may be on your overall expected outcomes and goals for yourself and for your business? Are you able to be in a space where you can separate your emotion from your compassion, separate your ego, right, from getting things done? Because it really isn't all about you. It is not all about you. It is about the impact you're trying to make, the goals you are trying to achieve. Now, the why behind that may be all about you, and that's a discussion you need to have with you, right? If it's all about you, there's going to be a disconnect that happens someplace, especially if you have to get these things done through other people. Because if it's all about you, then what's in it for them, right? But if you're focused on what you're trying to achieve and how you're trying to achieve it, and what the impact is of that, and you're keeping your eyes and your ears open, you are able to adjust, you're able to flex, you're able to move forward in a way that is productive, that is meaningful, that is impactful. Some of the biggest challenges that I've seen going forward with entrepreneurs is that failure to not only understand for themselves their real expectations of themselves and others, but a failure to articulate those expectations to those folks, and a failure to understand and modify expectations when needed. Because sometimes you just need to change what you expect, because it's just not going to happen, right? Like, my expectation is that I am able to put some plants in the ground. It is 40-something degrees. I don't know that that's going to happen. So I might need to adjust my expectation. Not that I'm going to get the plants in the ground, but that I'm going to get them in, right, at a time that makes sense for the plants to be healthy. I might not get them in today, but if I pay attention to what's going on, if I'm opening my eyes and opening my ears, this weekend might be a perfect time. So what I need to do is just keep them healthy until I can put them in the ground. Right? Those are the kind of things that you need to be paying attention to. And when you keep your eyes and your ears open, that also allows you to open your heart and your mind to hear the messages that are meant for you. You know, I had been looking for a different church for me for a while. Now, we all did the COVID thing, right? And was online, but I just needed to be back in a church, right? I just felt like I needed to be back in a church. And so I started going to a church that is a historic church here in Third Ward in Houston. And it's so great. I'm really enjoying it. It is small. It's really small. But I'm really enjoying it. And the priest asked us on Sunday, she said, hey, for those of you who've been coming here less than 6 months, can you stay? And because I just got some questions for you. I'm like, sure, I'll stay. And so she started asking about our impressions of the church, our impressions of, what we thought when we walked up, the grounds, all of those kind of things. It was just because she is someone who grew up there, right? Went away to seminary, came back there. So it's been her exposure and her experience. So as she said, sometimes when we are so close to something, we don't necessarily see it the way others would see it. So, keeping your eyes and ears open, listening for the things. So, Jerry talked me into this whole gardening thing. This is year number 3, right? Shamed me into this gardening thing, which has actually turned out to be really cathartic for me. I really enjoy it. And I'll post some new pictures too, because the plants are planting, the plants are growing. I'm so excited. And the marigolds do seem to be keeping off the bugs, knock on wood. Seem to be keeping off the bugs, y'all. So that might be the answer to those things eating up my plants. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. But I was there at church and we were having this conversation, and one of the people said, it needs some color. Like I'm in my mind, I'm planning this landscape and it needs some color and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, that would be great. And, I have some things. Then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm on a gardening committee. Now, I did say in this moment, I said, absolutely, I will donate plants. I will do some things. I don't dig in the dirt. I see bugs. I don't do that. I don't dig in the dirt. I don't dig in the dirt. But I'm on this gardening committee, right? And I thought, okay, well, let's keep my eyes and ears open. We're talking about beautifying the place. We're talking about ensuring that people know it is alive, that it is there, that it is welcoming, all those kind of things. Well, I don't have to dig in the dirt. Part of my donation could be some really beautiful planters. And those planters can be around, the doors or the openings of the gates and things where we can have some beautiful cascading flowers and things that come out. Because the dahlias right now, y'all, are gorgeous. I've never planted a dahlia before, but the dahlias are gorgeous. I'm like, what beautiful. We could put some bougainvillea. We could do some things that really are inviting and colorful. Hopefully not too many bees or things because, you got people like me that don't do bees either. And we don't want to scare people away because of the bugs and the flowers. But by listening, keeping my eyes open and my ears open, which allowed my mind and my heart to be open to possibilities, it's like, I cannot believe that I just volunteered to be on the gardening committee. Somebody who doesn't do bugs. And I've already got stuff in my mind that I'm like, okay, one, I get to meet these great people, right? They're really cool people. I get to spend more time with them and really learn about them and who they are. And I get to plant some beautiful things, and I don't have to dig in the dirt because I was clear in the beginning. I don't do that. But it's a way for me to use my gifts and to serve, right? Because it's all about service, servant leadership. It's all about service. What are you showing up to do? Keep your eyes and your ears open. Because when you do that, you can find those places where people need you. As I was, getting these services together for 2023 and really stepping into this place that is just so clear. It's so clear. I had the opportunity to work with a client last week, and it was so incredibly energizing and uplifting. And when I first got ready to do it, I was like, oh man, it's going to be a long session and I don't know. And I was it was such a confirmation, an additional confirmation, a God wink. Yep, this is it. I know this. I know this is my genius. I know this is what works. I know that I am able to connect dots and help these, women business owners move further into the success that they have created. I'm not walking in saying, oh, let me fix everything. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. Because clearly you know what you're doing. You built a business. What it is my ability to see, because I'm not in the weeds with you in your business. That's why every business owner needs a coach, right? Every coach needs a coach. Every doctor needs a doctor. We get in the weeds of our own stuff and we can't see. You can't see the forest for the trees. And so as your chief navigation officer, that's my genius, is to be able to see those same trees that you're seeing, but help you navigate through that forest in a way that gets you to the other side where you want to be, in a way that you want to be there, without as many cuts and bruises and broken twigs and fallen trees, right, along the way. How can you not burn the house down as you're moving to the next level? Because burning the house down is not necessary. Now, burning a few bridges may be, firing a few clients, right? Moving around some folks, helping people be successful somewhere else. That might be a part of it. And especially if you're in the bowels of the day-to-day, being able to see strategically the steps to get to where you say you want to go is very difficult, because you're in it, you're buried in it. But allowing yourself whatever mechanism you need to keep your eyes and your ears open so that your heart and your mind can be discerning before you take empowered action. That's what it means to be a leader. That's what it means to be an incredible founder, a continually successful founder. These folks that are serial entrepreneurs, it's not that they can't make up their mind and figure out what they want to do, right? They love the building. They love the getting things going, right? And they have built many, many successful businesses, and they know themselves well enough to know when it's time to build the next thing, when they're reaching that wall and make the decision of, yep, this is a wall that I need to break through or climb over or go around, or you know what, this is a wall that indicates to me it's time for me to do the next thing. And now I'm ready to sell this or turn this over or transfer this or shutter this, right? They are so in tuned to keeping their eyes and their ears open to be able to understand what their heart and their soul and their mind are telling them, that they're able to move successfully through that, right? They're able to successfully navigate through this thing that is serial entrepreneurship for them. Leaders who have been exceptional leaders have been able to keep their eyes and ears open, not only for their ability to continue to move up and to build the careers that they want, but to continually be able to lift people up behind them, right? We lift as we rise, and a high tide raises all boats. So as you continue to move, if you are keeping your eyes and ears open, you understand where the organization is going, what their strategy is, right? What their overall goals are, what they're stated and what is not stated, because your eyes and your ears are open. You're hearing what people are saying, but you're also watching what they're doing. And you are then able to move into spaces that you may never have even considered. But because your eyes and ears are open, you are hearing what that new thing is, how it not only may support you, but how it may support where the business is trying to go. And now you're at the cutting edge. You're in the middle of the action because you kept your eyes and your ears open. As someone in corporate, it is imperative that you keep your eyes and your ears open, especially as a senior leader. Your eyes and your ears need to be open not only to your people, but to your peers, to your board, right? And to the industry. And so many folks, when they get into those senior level roles, forget that there is life and a world and industry and expertise outside of their own four walls. How many times have you moved into a senior position at a new organization and all of a sudden you don't know anything, right? Now you got 20 years behind you, 30 years behind you, 50 years behind you, whatever it is. But the minute you crossed over that threshold, after the interview process, right? Because they were whining and dining you and telling you how much they needed your expertise when they were trying to get you there. But the minute your foot crossed over the threshold and your name went on a door, all of a sudden you didn't really know. Let us help you understand how we do it here. Okay, but isn't that why you hired me? Is because you needed to not do it the same way you've been doing it? Keep your eyes and your ears open. Because what that's telling you is there's some other deep-seated stuff up in there that you have got to decide how you are going to navigate. Which conversations are you going to have? Which conversations are you going to remove yourself from? Which conversations are you going to avoid? And which conversations are you going to push? Right? How many times are you going to say, you know what? My career didn't start when I got here. And just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not possible. Right? How many times are you going to say, you know what? Here's what we said and here's what we're doing. And those things don't match. So what are we going to say? Because see, we got people now who are relying on us. So we need to fix this. Are you willing, because of what you see and what you hear, are you willing to stand up and call it what it is? Right? And are you willing to do so, one, in a way that resonates in the organization you're in, because see, your eyes and your ears have been open, so you know how to navigate that political landscape. Are you willing to understand when to work it in and work with the culture, and when to kick the culture in the gut and say, you know what? I know normally y'all are real quiet and you kind of ease and you have 42 meetings about this. Not today. We're going to blow this up today. Because today, this needs to happen because the impact that it's making right now is going to be catastrophic. And I can see it. And here's what I can see, right? What are your eyes and your ears telling you is necessary in this moment? Are you watching? Are you listening? Are you discerning what's really going on? Are you looking at the facts yourself and understanding the narrative and recognizing when the narrative is just a bunch of hooey? When someone on the one hand says, no, to be woke, because you know that word has been appropriated, just like cornrows. To be woke means to be aware, to understand, blah, 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 but you can't use that to take action. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? When someone's promoting, no, we want to make sure everybody has a voice and we don't want to step on free speech. But you know what? We can't give any money or any support to anything that's talking about DE&I, because see, that's woke discourse. Are you listening? Are your eyes open? Are your ears open? People will listen to what you say. They will believe what you do. And you must keep your eyes and your ears open as a leader. Because what are you telling people? And then what are you doing? What narrative then are they creating that they are then telling others, right? All you have to do is go look on Glassdoor to see the narratives that are being created by the leaders in the organizations. Some true, some not. But they are somebody's perspective. And even if you see there is this preponderance of evidence that some place is just horrible to work, that might just be a mutiny, right? That might just be somebody who's really irritated and they just want to tell everybody not. So you got to be discerning, right? But there's always a little bit of truth in every lie. And good lies have quite a bit of truth in them. It's the kink that makes the lie, right? But if you are listening and you are watching, you get a much better chance of being discerning in what is true and what is not, what is fact-based and what is just opinion. And then your ability to set and manage expectations, your own and others, and then move into appropriate action for that, right? This is the power and the necessity of keeping your eyes and your ears open. We have so much going on right now, y'all, that is, quite frankly, for me, disturbing in many ways. As I've said on this show before, I refuse to allow this madness to erase my very existence. And what happens if we don't stand up and say something? There are going to be generations who don't understand how we got where we are and therefore make some of the same stupid decisions, because those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, right? It was slavery, not intestinal fortitude, not indentured servitude. Women absolutely could not vote or have a credit card in their own name for a long time because they were deemed to not be able to do that. That's real. Those are real facts, right? Redlining is real. Gerrymandering is real, right? These things are real. Institutional and systemic racism is real. Institutions that are built to keep some out and only let some in, that's real. Those are facts. And if we are listening, if we're keeping our eyes open and our ears open, we can see the facts. We can determine what the narrative is. We can understand what parts of the narrative are true and what parts of the narrative are not true. And we can act accordingly. And I don't mean the echo chambers, y'all, because we got a ton of those. I'm not talking about the echo chambers where you can go and just hear everything you want to hear. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about adults who understand that there's a difference between truth and facts and perspective and opinion, right? Because we're all entitled to our own opinion. We're just not entitled to our own facts. Facts are the facts. Now, what you choose to do with those facts and whether or not you choose to have an opinion contrary to those facts, that's on you, right? We're all grown, most of us. So you get to do that. But as a leader, if you keep your eyes and your ears open and you are watching your people as much as you're watching your colleagues, if you're just as interested in leading as you are in managing up, because many of those people sitting in leadership positions are not leaders because they manage up well. They lead horribly but they manage up well. So they've been able to kind of rookie do some people into thinking they're really great executives. But leadership is about behavior. It is not about position. And if you're keeping your eyes and ears open, you can see when your people are telling you something is disconnected, something isn't working, something is off. If you own your own business, you're a founder, and all of a sudden things aren't quite going well. Yeah, look to the main things. Whoop, did industry change? Did clients change? Did something external change? You need to understand that, right? If there's some external factors that have changed, you absolutely need to know that. But don't stop there. Especially if you're like, nope, nothing changed outside. I don't know what it is. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If you keep your eyes and ears open, you will know exactly what it is. My team changed. My expectations changed, but I didn't communicate that. Right? Something in the world where people are connected changed. Good morning, Jenny. Something is off, or something morphed, right? Or shifted. And I either didn't see it ahead of time as the leader, I didn't understand it, I didn't acknowledge it, I didn't something. And therefore I couldn't get ahead of it with my folks. We're going to do some shout outs here shortly. So I love that candle, Jerry. Jerry's like, y'all should see the studio. She's doing some beautiful things. I just can't wait for people to see it. Because, KCOH is making moves, y'all.
Come on now.
So we're going to do some shout outs here. And I want to thank y'all. I was doing some work with Jenny the other day, and I had been talking to the person that was doing my website, and we were talking about, email lists and how many people were subscribing to my email list and that kind of thing. I was like, I only have this many people, and I know I need to beef that up. I went into my email list. I'm like, I don't know where y'all came from, but I am so appreciative. I mean, it was like 300 more people than I even knew were there. And thank you. Thank you for signing up, for reading the emails, those emails that Jenny is so good at getting done for me, taking my thoughts and putting them in the right words, right? Just because my time is just insane. Thank y'all. Thank you so much for those pieces, right? For the pieces of your time and your energy to read and click and open and follow and join the mailing list and all. Y'all, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Thank you. Keep it coming. Keep it coming, because we got good stuff that's happening, y'all. Keep it coming. All right, let's do some shout outs.
All right, we have Argentina,
Mm-hmm.
United Kingdom, Japan, Canada, France, Brazil, Mexico, Germany, Finland, Montreal, Frankfurt, Helsinki, San Antonio, New York, Los Angeles, Raleigh, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, Kansas City, Missouri, Washington, D.C., Houston, Texas.
I love it. And I know we have Mason, Ohio in the house as well. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much wherever you are. I appreciate the tune in. And I just really enjoy connecting with people around the globe, y'all. It just really makes me happy to be able to be connected globally, right? And to see all of your countries pop up and your cities pop up. And please just send me send me a note, send me a comment, send me a something, and tell me where you are. If you're outside, let me know what's going on. No, I think the candle's fine. It's the wind and everything else. So yeah, it's awesome being here with y'all. I really do appreciate it. So, getting back to this keep your eyes and your ears open. The other thing that happens that I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for, and we don't pay enough attention to, is this. When it's all about you, you forget to use your eyes and your ears to engage with other folks. So I went to this gala, as I said earlier, right? I went to this gala and I don't do a lot of that. Although I'm going to do more. And I so enjoyed it. And I thank you again, Mama Marion, for the invitation. It was so great to see everybody. Because there were people there that I hadn't seen in, years and years. And I got a chance at that event to connect with some people who I heard say some words, right? And say some things that I thought, that's a story that needs to be told, right? That's a connection that needs to be made. I need to have them on a show, right? There's some power, there's some meat, there's some grit there. And these are people I would not have met had I not gone, right? And then I had a note from my podcast producer this morning that was just so sweet and so uplifting about this new episode that's coming out. And he's like, I'm so glad you do that. And you do such a great job. And the thing he said that really got me, he said, because when you interview somebody, it's clear that it's not about you. You let them talk, you let them get things out. You ask good questions. You want them to be able to tell their story. And their story is so uplifting to people and can be so valuable to people. And it literally took me a minute. I was so emotional from that. It took me a minute to kind of get it together to respond to him. And I thought in that moment, you know what? That is true, because I know in my heart that it's not about me. I also know that I am really curious. I'm a curious person by nature, and I love to learn. And when I see and hear these people's stories, I'm like, God, that's so good. I want to talk to you some more, right? So I guess that the crux is kind of selfish, because I'm like, I want to have more of a conversation with them. But the deeper piece of that is, through that conversation, I know there's something that's going to touch somebody because I've heard it, right? I've heard somebody else say that. I've seen it. I've read it. Something about it says that this is an opportunity to really impact someone. And so you all are also going to meet this amazing woman. Her name is Micah Anders. If you listen to NPR, you would have heard her. She was talking about genealogy. And in fact, on this show, actually it's during Black History Month, they were talking about family altars. And so you see that a lot in the culture. Like if you watched Coco, this is a great way to understand the Day of the Dead, right? Dia de los Muertos. One of the best ways, the simplest, cleanest examples to kind of explain that whole process to you in a way that is easy for us to understand as lay people is to watch that Disney movie Coco. It was such a great representation, one, but two, just a real good story of how it all works, right? And what it really means. It's not just about skulls and altars that people get all jacked up about, right? There's a real purpose behind what they do, and a generational connection. It is really powerful. So anyway, this Micah Anders was on that show, and I heard her, and I thought, wow, I need to talk to her for a number of reasons. But I also just want to talk to her because this whole genealogy, especially around women, and how the line from the women is a key part of this tree. And especially if you think about underrepresented people and people, especially Black people who were brought here, where there was an intentional busting up, for lack of a kinder word, of the family structure, right? So there are multiple trees within a tree intentionally, right? Because that we were property, not people. So it was about, how do you get more property from the property you have? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But her conversation around following these trees and things was just so incredible. And so y'all are going to hear from her on the show too. One of the shows, and she's not here, so I'll probably have her on Fireside. Because I really want people in the studio for the radio show. And it's about this story. It's about the journey. It's about challenging the narratives, right? I'm going to have, in fact, Larry Moore, if you're listening, I'll be reaching out to you. Have the head of the Panhellenic Council on as well. I'm going to have him in studio, probably have him in studio and on Fireside, because, this whole stuff that's going on in Florida and the reality behind the Divine Nine, it's a time to educate folks on what that really is. These are not gangs, right? Stop it. Just stop. Just let's alleviate some ignorance, right? It is when you keep your eyes and your ears open, you are able to discern, right? Again, when you meet someone or run into someone that's like, oh my gosh, this is not only valuable for me, but this is a connection I need to make for other folks, because there is power in the connection. And I was just connecting people this morning, sending out a bunch of emails to make virtual introductions. And I had to laugh because I was like, here I go again. Just like that person when I was in Cancun last year talking about, you are like the great connector. You're always connecting people. And I never thought about it, but I meet people, I talk to them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you really need to meet so-and-so. Oh my gosh, you really need to meet so-and-so. And when you put that out there and you do it out of genuineness, because I truly connect people because I think there is a connection there, right? There is something valuable in that connection for one or both of those people. When you do that, it comes back to you, right? People are connecting me all the time. They're telling me about people. They're bringing up things to me. They're telling me about things that I would never know about. And that's because we've made a connection. And the connection in and of itself is powerful, right? And so I want you, when I say keep your eyes and your ears open, I need you fundamentally to keep your eyes and your ears open now, right? There's the kind of the three levels. There's the just personal safety level. Keep your eyes and your ears open, stay off your phone, walk across the street, don't get hit by a car, right? All the safety stuff, right? There's the second level that is keep your eyes and your ears open because there is so much noise out there right now. And if we don't keep our eyes and our ears open and intentionally pay attention, we will get surprised and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Yes, you can, because see, you stop paying attention. But the third level of that keeping your eyes and ears open is you as a leader, you as a business founder, right? You as a senior executive. Keep your eyes and your ears open for what not only you are seeing and hearing from your people, what you are seeing and hearing from your leaders, but how those things are disconnecting and translating into what you are seeing and hearing, right? Keep your eyes and ears open for the disconnects because leadership is about getting things done with and through and for other people. It's not about you. It's about them. And so if you can keep your eyes and your ears open, you can see where those disconnects happen and when they happen and address them in a way that is effective, that is efficient, that is timely, right? We sometimes try to address stuff that happened 6 months ago. Well, by then folks have forgotten, right? It's kind of like when people are training a new puppy and they've been gone all day and they come back and the puppy peed in the house. Well, you don't rub his nose in it 6 hours later. That doesn't tell him anything. He's not connecting the behavior, right, to the consequence. There's no connection. So there's no learning there. That's why, you know, the Dr. Ross, the Professor Ross, who talked about calling in the call out culture, right? And I call it don't cancel everybody, right? There's got to be consequences. Cancellation is only one consequence. Sometimes the consequence is you need to stay and live with the madness that you did, right? Because sometimes if we cancel people too early, they don't connect the consequences to their action. It's just easier for them to say, well, see, it's that woke culture and I got canceled. No, you did something really stupid and offensive. And because you did that, the consequences that nobody's going to work with you anymore. How about that? Right? We have got to keep our eyes and ears open to be able to connect dots and ensure narratives are correct. Because he who controls the narrative, right, controls the minds. We see that a lot. We see that a lot. And who gets out in front of the story first, that's where people are leading. And that's why I encourage you, whether it's really understanding who the candidates are that are running for something, what the bills are that are coming across your state and local, you know, legislatures and boards. It's about educating yourself on the real issues, reading the language, right? When language is contradictory, that's a problem. And say, no, I'm not okay with that, right? We are going to clear this up because guess what? You work for me, elected official. So we're going to get this clear. We're not going to keep doing this roundabout, intentionally obscure language that leads people to vote in a way we want, not in a way they want, right? By being sure you keep your eyes and your ears open, you can challenge not only yourself in how you're leading, but you can challenge those that are around you. You can challenge your teams. You can challenge your leaders, right? To say, look, this is not about disrespect. This is about clarity. It's not unkind to be clear. This is about clarity. This is about ensuring everybody understands the direction and the mission and where we're going and can get on board and can use their gifts to the best of their genius, right? That's what it's about. Keeping your eyes and your ears open is a superpower because it also requires you to know yourself well enough to know how to manage the data that you get in, to manage your spirit, to manage your health, right? I know I need to stay on top of things that are going on, but I do not do that first thing in the morning, and I don't do it last thing at night because I don't need my day started off with madness, and I don't need to go to sleep with madness in my heart, right? I look at it and read it and internalize it and digest it during the day when I have time to recover from it. And I try to bookend it with things that I love to do, or uplifting stories, or amazing people that I've read about or learned from, a call with a friend, right? I bookend it with things that lift my spirit because I am here to serve, and I can't serve if I'm down. I can't serve if I'm in a place of anger and madness and irritation. Now, some of that anger, madness, and irritation actually helps to move us forward, right? And helps us get into action. But it's got to be channeled the right way, right? If I'm just screaming and yelling, nobody's listening to that. Nobody's listening to that. And I'm not talking about the whole mad black woman fallacy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if you're just screaming and yelling, just like parents know, the more you yell at your kids, the more they stop listening. I know for us, when our parents got quiet, when they leaned down and whispered, that's when you knew it was serious. If they're talking loud and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, okay, they'll be done in a minute, right? You have listened. You keep an ear open just in case you need to run, right? But you're not really paying attention. But when it gets quiet, when you have to strain to listen, ooh, I need to pay attention to that. Keep your eyes and your ears open. What's going on around me? What's going on around me? What do I need to do? How do I need to respond? How do I protect me so that I can serve, right? It's a big deal. Leadership requires you to keep your eyes and your ears open, to lead with compassion and not with emotion, right? To lead with an understanding that it's about service, not about ego. That's what's required of exceptional leadership, because leadership is about behavior, not about position. So if you're really intent upon being a leader, then you will be just as intent upon keeping your eyes open and your ears open, that you will be just as intent upon calling out when things just aren't aligned in a way that makes sense for wherever you are, and know when it's time to get loud and be okay with getting loud. And I would argue that right now is a time to get loud. So you will hear and see me continuing to speak and likely getting louder about some things, because playtime is over, y'all. This is serious. This is serious business for serious people, right? Adulting takes serious business and serious people. So we all got to get on it.
I like what you said. Sometimes the anger pushes you to do. When I came in here and saw that water in that room, I told you I felt like I wanted to just lay in the water and cry. And then I said, no, you remember on Dirty Dancing?
Yes.
Nobody puts baby in the crib.
Right.
So I got up from there and I called the people that needed to come out there. So I'm hearing all that going on in the background. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes it takes some kind of agitation in order to bring the leader out of you, because you can't just, it takes adulting, as you just said. Then I like what you said, because I saw that picture of you with the Fabulous Nine.
Yes, the Divine Nine.
The Divine Nine. And all the people, you said this is Black excellence. That made my baby leap, because as we're doing new things around the station, that's the whole idea of the station, of portraying Black excellence, the voices, to know about what's going on in the world, to know about what's really going on in the news concerning us. Yes. Because a lot of things are not telling us what's concerning us that we need to know. So this is a fabulous show, and I just got excited when I was listening to it and soaking up water. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Right. So.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it is. It's so important. And speaking of things that are good for us, I shared this. I reposted this on my Instagram, y'all. Laurel.k.Rutledge. Dr. Shayla, who was on my podcast last week and who was on Fireside Show with the three doctors. She was one of the three doctors. She's doing a masterclass on the 26th, I believe it is. So go to my IG, because I reposted it. She's doing a masterclass on the managing the health trifecta. And it's going to be good. So be sure you can, I've got another event, so I can't be there, but please go listen to that. Cause she's got some juice. She's got some mastery there that I think is going to change lives. So listen to her. Follow all three of them. Dr. Tuere, Dr. Ken, my cuz, and Dr. Shayla. Go follow them. They are doing some good stuff to help us address these health disparities and to take our power back where our health is concerned.
One more thing, I cheesed hard when I found out that you're going to be over or you're part of something with the little gardening group at the
yes, church. Yes,
you
Lord.
went from
I'm going to be on the gardening committee. Wow. You heard me tell people it's Jerry's fault. Yeah.
That's why I smiled. I'm like, really? She's going to be over the garden committee.
No. On the garden committee. On the gardening committee. I'll be planting stuff that's like stuff that's underneath the ground, you know, because that's bugs. I can't do that. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. We shall see. They may kick me off because I don't do bugs. We'll see. All right, y'all. It has been amazing. Amazing. I love being here with y'all on Tuesdays. Thank you so much for being here with me. It looks like the camera adjusted or something for a minute. Thank y'all so much for being here with me on this Tuesday. I will plan to be here next week. I will keep showing up. I hope you do too. Chat with you soon. Take care. Bye.